Hola amigos, hola amigas, welcome, bienvenido, croeso y salam, welcome to the channel y'all, Chesh Nyakshi Mash. Today I have got something that I have been waiting to unveil for you for quite a while. Now many of you would have seen or possibly seen on their social medias these adverts that come up, and one of them was for the Dyson mop. So I was really intrigued in this because it's wipe the ground, waxing, polishing, dust, multi-purpose, multifunctional electric mop for the Dyson. Now I know it fits the Dyson V10. I think it also fits the V11. I'm not sure about any others because they may have changed the attachment thing like they always seem to do. So I don't know which ones exactly it would fit, but we'll find out in a minute. So this came, I bought it from an Amazon, was it Amazon or eBay? Can't remember. It was about £100. Yes, I know, that's quite a lot of money for a mop, but I thought, well, do you know what? I thought it would be fun to see this because the adverts pop up all the time on social media for me. So I thought it'll be good to give it a demonstration. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get you guys a little bit closer. We'll open up the box. I haven't opened it up myself, and we'll take a look and see what is inside to turn your Dyson stick vac into a mop. Okay, let's take a look and see what we get inside the box. There it is. There is a measuring cup, 4 mop head pads. Oh, you get 3 sets. Okay, whoops. And let's take this out. Okie dokie. Let me remove the box. Okay, so that is what you get in the box. So you have the mop head here with the attachment. This then is the mop. Oh, that's actually come out. There we go. That's supposed to be glued in, but it's come out. So I'm gonna have to glue that back in. Excellent quality. This is the little water tank that you have for the solution and also for the water. Now there seems to be 2. Ah, right, okay. I don't know what that is for, but that fits on top of there. Stays in place with the magnets, which have fallen off. Like I said, I'm going to glue it back on. And that fits on top. It's got a swivel neck. That seems quite flexible with the tube. Let's take that off. Let's turn it upside down. Here are the mop heads. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that come with it. They're all the same. There's no difference in textures or anything to them. They all appear to be the same, but they seem pretty well made, I have to say. That's not too bad. And then there's 2 wheels on the front, on the back here, and then these must be the rotating brushes on it. There's really not much to it. Step 1, open the package, align the disc burr, and install the rag with the machine itself. Install the electric brush head on the conductive. So that's the tank switch and that's the tank plug. So this is the tank switch. Install the electric brush head on the conductive tube of the vacuum cleaner. Open the vacuum cleaner and start working. When using the water tank, the right amount of pure water or waxing liquid, open the floor, open the water tank switch, begin to mop the floor. That doesn't make any sense. Tank switch, tank plug? I don't know, we'll find out. That doesn't seem to make much sense whatsoever. First thing we want to do is see if it works. So let me connect it up and let's turn it on. Okay, so they seem to have quite good torque. There you have a little velvet strip that's been cut out, and this is the vent and the channel that allows dust and dirt and stuff to go through to it. Let's just align these as best we can. Let's try them. Okay, so they're not exactly aligned. Let's try and align them this way. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. Let's try it on here. I don't think you'd need it on max, to be honest. It's got quite a good swivel to it. If you do go under things, you can't turn it that way, so you can't really turn the machine if you're going down low, so that's as low as you can go. Okay, let's try it with the tube. I damaged my tube, look, it's got a kink in it. Okay, let me try it this way. Now my fear with these has been, especially because you're using liquid, is the chances of water going into the machine. So where the dirt comes in here, this part is all completely dry, so we will check this at the very end to see what happens. There's a little thing of water here up to 100 mils in this little jug. I guess. So this is the port where you put the solution into, seal it up, and because it's kind of like a sealed unit, I can see there. So if that appears to be like off, so that is going to stop dripping possibly due to it sort of like having no air to replace the space, whereas that seems to release like an air valve that will then allow air to rush in and then the water droplets to drop out. That's what I'm assuming. Right, let me get this glued on, because it's going to bug me. So I'm just going to glue that a minute. I can't find the glue in here. I know what it is. I think it's in the kitchen. I'm going to go and glue this on, and I'm going to put some solution in here, some warm solution with a tiny little drop of floor cleaner, and I'll set up the floor and we'll come back and have a look and do a demonstration. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Well, that only took about 30 minutes and a cup of coffee to understand how it worked. So I took it inside, and it takes about 150 mils of warm water and a few drops of flash, but I could not get the bubbles, the water, to drip out like I've seen on the adverts, but I finally worked it out. So right, it kind of like stops. It's not dripping now. And then you push the button onto the what's like the open, and then they drip out bit by bit, very slowly, drip, 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 which is great. And then when you turn it off, it does actually stop, which is quite good because it creates pressure inside like a siphon, and it stops the majority of the water from squishing out. So like I said, I put some warm water in here and a couple of drops of solution, and I stuck the magnet back on. So I've turned that off. I'm not going to use that for the minute. I just want to see how it works. So I'll put it up like that, and then that stops the water. The other problem I had as well was the water was not dripping out through these at all. So what I had to do is I took a pin and I pierced the inside of it, wiggled it around, and then it would start to drip out. It would not drip out before. So if you find that you can't get water to drip out, if you put a pin inside these, a fine pin, give it a bit of a wiggle, and then that seems to make it work. Right, so what I want to do is try it on the floor. I'm going to get some sand, and I've got some laminate flooring in the studio that I'm going to quickly put together, and then we're going to give it a quick test to see how it copes with actually sucking up sand and these pads before I get them wet and we do a little bit of a mess test. All right, so let me get that set up and I'll be back in a minute. So I have got some laminate flooring here set up on the studio, and I have got some gay sand. So I'm going to sprinkle a nice chunk around. This isn't measured or anything, this is just for fun. Right, okay. Now let's give it a go. Okay, so I got this on low setting on the Dyson. So let's see how it does. Right, let's have a look. Let's bring you guys closer. Okay, so that's what's been picked up in the machine. Let's take a closer look at the head and see. Yeah, there's a little bit there in the wheels. But there's not much in the brushes. So it seems to have done a good job. Let me pick up the rest. I'm going to use the higher power. Let's see how that goes. Okay, so I'm going to put the Dyson onto medium power, and let's see if that makes any difference. Okay, so it seems to have picked everything up, and it also seems to have scattered some bits as well, so it's not perfect. Let's take a look at the head. Yeah, there's bits of sand and stuff, but I think that's static because it's new. You always get that with new stuff. Yeah, there's stuff in there, I can see. Right, okay, so yeah, it's all right, I guess. Let's try it with some bigger particles now. I have got my Mad About Mess container with Rice Krispies and sawdust and everything else. Let's delve in deep. And let's make a big old mess. Right. Again, I'm going to try it on the medium power. Let's go. So, no, it's not very suitable for picking up dry messes. It's definitely no fluffy head brush at all. So, just for purposes, I'm going to go get the fluffy head. I'm going to empty everything that we've picked up. Give it a little bit of a scattering. Let me get my dedicated fluffy head for it and we'll try that. Okay, so there we go. I've got my proper big fluffy head for it. Let's give it a go. And there we go. That is fantastic. I really do love this fluffy head on this vacuum. It is really good. And I'm really glad to see it back as well in the new Dyson as well. That's come out, that skinny stick vac one. Really good. Absolutely fantastic for 99% of any foreign stuff, any bits that you drop on the floor. Love it, and I'm glad to see it back. I can't wait to hopefully one day maybe get in one of those double fluffy brush head attachments or vacuums, just to see what it's like. But yeah, this is good. This, on the other hand, not so good. So let's try it for its dedication to mopping. So let's give this floor a mop. Okay, so I got everything set up for my little test. I've got some clean pads. I'll pop them on. And I will put the solution tank magnetized on the top. There we go. So you must understand with this mop, this is not for picking up spills. I'm not going to be putting wet mess on there and ketchup and everything else, because it is just going to go straight into there, get sucked through. So this is not for spillages. This is just for light mopping, and that is it. Do not use it on spills, because you will ruin your vacuum cleaner. So where did I put? Oh, it's over there. So let me just get the head, the main machine. I'm going to put it on low suction. So I'm going to connect the Dyson up to it, like so. And now I'm going to turn it so the dripping starts, like so. There we go. There is, yep, there's water dripping out. Okay, and let's mop. Okay, so the floor is sufficiently wet and the mop heads are damp too. So I'm going to turn it off because I do not want it dripping, because it's just going to constantly drip. So when you go forward to clean an area and then when you pull back, you're going to get drip, 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 drip. So now I'm just going to go over it just to absorb any lost drips. So there we go. So all the drips now you can see have been removed, any of the drip marks. And I think that's done a pretty good job. That is done a pretty good job, and it looks like it's going to dry. You'd just have to make sure that you... Let me take the tank off. There we go. I'm just taking the tank off. So you just have to make sure that... I mean, these are damp, but they're not soaking wet. So you'd have to be careful that these don't get too wet. So you could turn the water off. But to be honest, I really quite like that. I'm going to give it a go in the kitchen on the dark floor, and I'll see how it goes, and then I'll do a future video on using this in there. But that's really good. So the next thing you can do with it as well is the waxing. But the thing about it is, I wouldn't really put wax in here because it's really hard to get this water out. When I filled it up to see how much it would take to fill in, and I opened up this flap here to tip it out, it doesn't really tip out very well. If they'd have put it so towards the edge or something where you could do that and then just pour it out, it's good. But the position that it's in, it's quite hard to get all of the water out of it. So if you were to put liquid wax into this to wax your floors, you're going to get really hard to get it out. And I potentially think that these would block. So I really wouldn't recommend using them for wax. So what I'm going to do is, I've got 2 more pairs. So what I'm going to do of these is I'm going to use one to apply wax, and I'm going to use the other one to polish it off. So let me go get my wax. So here I have some proper floor wax, but the nozzle's blocked. So what I'm going to do is just spread, or just pour just a little bit of the floor wax. There we go, that's all you need. Onto the floor. Get my 2 clean mop heads. I'm going to put a little bit, just spread a little bit onto there. Start it off. Pop that down on it. Plonk. And spread that wax around the floor. Do that quickly. Okay, so that has really spread the floor wax out nice and even, I have to say. It's done a really good job. As you can see, there's a nice even sheen over it. So let me remove these. Let this dry, because this is proper floor wax. The smell, paraffin floor wax, it just takes me back to when I lived in Colombia, because it just does. So let's let that dry and come back and see if we can buff it up. Okay, so we're back and I've got my last pair of pads, and I got this cloth because I want to see, it's got like a matte finish on it now, so I want to see by using a cloth. No, it's not going to have a deep shine to it. But if I put these clean cloths on, and we will give it a little buff. Okay, let's buff away. So there we go. Let's remove the vacuum. So it's put a little bit of a shine onto this floor, as you can see, but that's to do with the wax mainly, and it's all right. It's just not worth the money. I mean, this, like I said, this was just over 100 quid. This is not worth 100 quid at all. So if you are going to buy one of these, be very careful. You cannot get lots of water on the floor. They're not for picking up spills. The adverts that you see there for them, they're picking up hair and fur and spills and water and stains and everything. I wouldn't do that. I'd make sure that your floor is really clean, vacuumed, no particles or anything. If you do have any kind of spills, this isn't going to pick it up really. You're going to have to really scrub at it because there's no weight to it. A proper one of these has a lot of weight to the top to push down to really buffer. This doesn't. So it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's okay if you've got like a small flat or something. But again, the price, it's just not worth the price. So there we go. I do these demonstrations so you don't have to. And that is the video completed on my Dyson mop and buffer. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye y'all.